Involving a 46-year-old Israeli alleged gang leader has been postponed to Monday. The man was arrested yesterday along with 7 others, as we were reporting in the last few minutes, at a house in Bryanston. This happened yesterday during a raid led by Interpol in South Africa. It's alleged that the gang leader faces various charges in his home country related to at least 2 bombings back in the early 2000s. He's been on an Interpol red notice since 2015. Let's talk about this arrest and the case with the expert on issues of security with the Institute for Security Studies, Willem. Willem, a very good afternoon to you. You and I are speaking almost weekly about these developments around international fugitives. We talked about threats of terror. Should we be reading all of it together?
Good afternoon to you. Yes, I would like to refer to what we're experiencing at the moment as a perfect storm. And, for a perfect storm to take place or to develop, you need the right recipe. All the conditions must be created that create these perfect conditions for the storm. And I think over the past years, we experienced all those conditions that were being created, like, for instance, the state capture and poor governance, and also the cut of the budgets for these different agencies, etc., etc. But one thing also, it seems that we lost somehow the moral compass somewhere, because all of these syndicates make use of corruption in order to reach their ends, and mainly corrupting state actors. And we have a problem.
And from this arrest of a fugitive, on an Interpol red notice from 2015 for crimes allegedly committed in the early 2000s, found in Bryanston, doesn't seem to have been in hiding. This is an average Johannesburg suburb where he was staying. How is it that he wasn't found sooner? Because, and I use the word sooner with a caveat that we don't even know how long he'd been in Bryanston or the country.
That's correct. You mentioned that we're speaking almost daily. We spoke about the terrorism and all of that. And then we spoke about how South Africa has got the ideal conditions and climate for these syndicates, whether it's a terrorist syndicate or whether it is your transnational organized crime syndicates, to operate in due to various reasons. Well, for one, we've got the strongest economy on the continent, where we've got all the wonderful banking systems, etc., etc. So the conditions are there, and you throw that into the mix with the completely overwhelmed law enforcement and judiciary in order to deal with these cases, because of various reasons. State capture is one of them. Also, lack of resources. A lot of people leaving the institutions. So there's a big picture to that. And I think we will be surprised by what happened, the events of yesterday, because I doubt that they were only operational in the Johannesburg area and only for a short time. I think their operations might go back a few years, even to Cape Town, if you look at the drug links, etc. So I think it's a case that's still unfolding.
Important that you highlight that, because yes, this is a man who is said to have been involved in bombings, attempted killings back in Israel around 2004, 2005. But when you look at what was found on the scene when he and the 7 other men were arrested, there were guns, some of them quite sophisticated weaponry. 40,000, I think I was reading, US dollars also found on the property in cash. It's clear they weren't selling school jerseys from the property.
No, it's clear. And if you look at the equipment that these guys had, they seem to be very sophisticated. They seem to be very well organized. If you look at the vehicle they referred to as a sniper van, how they fitted that delivery vehicle in order to perpetrate their acts, where they soundproof it and so on. We don't have a lot of information on that. We can only comment on what we saw on the video clip that was shown on News 24. So, they seem to be very highly organized. And I think, like I said, things are unfolding. I think they're just scratching the surface at the moment on what these people have been doing in the country, and also what they've been planning to do in the country.
Last hour, William Booth, the criminal attorney, was saying that something else that we need to see happen more intensely is better cooperation between states. But is that not already happening when you consider that even this bust was through an international organization such as Interpol?
That's correct. Interpol is part of the police. The police is a member of Interpol, and that's where your information sharing takes place, but also where your red notice is. And the red notice is basically an international arrest warrant for this person have been issued as far back as 2015. It is unfortunate that it took so long for them to be able to act on that. But also, I think, as we mentioned in previous discussions, the cooperation, transnational, regional, as well as international, between the law enforcement agencies, but also your intelligence agencies, which is very important in here, because you cannot work without intelligence. And so these people have been cooperating. We understand that some of the information came from some foreign agencies that have been cooperating with South Africa. It seems that there's a conducive situation going on in cooperation between these agencies, and that really is imperative if you want to crack these type of transnational organized crime syndicates.
But can that cooperation be improved? Does it need improving?
Oh yes, it's needed. It's needed. South Africa, no country is an island. To speak like they say, no man is an island. For that matter, South Africa cannot fight the fight against transnational organized crime, because that's what it means, transnational. It's not local. And also transnational terrorism cannot be curbed by one country alone. We see that in Mozambique, where SADC has moved in, as well as Rwanda, to assist Mozambique in the fight against terrorism there, because the Mozambican government alone was not going to win that battle. And that you see all over Africa. We see that in Somalia. We also see that in West Africa.
Willem, good to have you. Thank you so much for speaking to us today.